What else can you bring to the table?
Well, what I've seen is maybe a little bit of lack of promotion. I think we really need to bring the sport more to the masses again. We need to activate in across the different platforms. I want to bring the pay-per-views into movie theaters again. I want to really do things right, and we need to keep the fighters in the public's eye, not just when they fight, but sort of like on a consistent basis, and try to develop marketing campaigns around the fighters to really make them more household names. And what we need as well is we need to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. I've seen so many negative stories coming out of from other promoters, from media members. 2016 has been the worst year ever, and so on. So we need to believe in our product. We need to believe ourselves in our sport, and not go and let everybody else know how bad boxing is, or how boxing is dying, or how horrible year it was. We need to look at the glass half full.
Now, this is a question for both of you guys. We have Cuellar defending his WBA featherweight title. We have Charles defending his IBF junior middleweight title. This is the fight against two young guys. However, a lot of fight fans, a lot of fight critics, once again, are excited about the trainers going head to head. You got Freddie Roach against Garcia, and now you have yourself against a young man in Stephen Edwards, aka Breadman. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's just let you know that that there's still a lot of good trainers in the sport. You just don't see one guy anymore. And at certain points, I guess in boxing careers, that's what you're seeing, one guy all the time. Now you see different guys. Because I think everybody, a lot of trainers have just got down and learned the sport, and just want to, have the best fighters out there themselves. And I think other fighters are now trusting in other people instead of just the same guy all the time. So it works out for everybody.
And what makes your fighter so much better than J-Rock?
Well, I just think, I've been knowing Jamal since he was like 8 years old. So, I have a good rapport with him. And I just know the kind of young man he really is. And I know what his will is. And when you know that, I just don't see nobody beat him that way. This guy has a will to win. And he does everything right. And it's hard to say that about a young guy.
Is he struggling to make 154? Can we see him possibly at 160? Because he's a big guy for junior middleweight
He is a big guy. But, the thing about it is what I've learned and what he's learned. With me watching, I've been in the sport for a very long time. I've been with so many other champions, and I've seen how they've done it. But Jamal has been around that also, and he knows that if you want to be a champion and you want to stay a champion, you have to do what it takes to be that. You have to eat the way you're supposed to do that. And this kid, he's learned nutrition, and he have a great nutritionist within the camp. His conditioning coach, Danny Arnold. This guy, he went to college for this stuff. And Jamal really believes in him, and he's seen the difference. When he didn't have that to what he has right now. And so 154 pounds, look, he has to make it on Friday.
Right.
And then 164 on Saturday. That's not going to be a problem for you. When, people here are saying we're going up to 160. Of course we are. This is really more than likely his last fight at 154 pounds. But he's not going to. If I thought my guy was going to struggle to make that, he wouldn't be in this ring. I wouldn't let him. Because I realize it's too dangerous.
Right.
I've seen guys get hurt behind doing the same thing. And I'm not going to take that chance with anybody that I train. And, and I explain these things to all of my fighters. If you're going to be the type of guy that don't do what you're supposed to do, you know what? You have to find somebody else that's going to really, just put up with what you want to, just what you want to do. But I'm concerned about his health. And if I didn't think he was healthy enough to make 154 and be able to go at 12 hard rounds, then Jamal Charlo wouldn't be in that ring.
I actually have a question. You said he was going to move up to 160. Obviously, then the next question would be, are you guys looking at Triple G in that division, or what?
I wouldn't let him come from this division and then all of a sudden just go straight for a world title.
Right.
You
Or
know, I
Triple
mean,
G.
that's that'd be irresponsible for our whole team to just right away just want to do that.
Well, if it were Billy Joe Saunders, would it be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert, I was just gonna say
Right?
that.
I mean, maybe not, right? It might be okay.
Absolutely. If it was a guy like him, of course, I think we feel we can beat him right now.
I hope Billy's watching this.
I hope he is too.
We're gonna switch.
Glad you said
Right?
it, and not me. But truth be told, I would have said it too.
Right, I was, yeah.
But it all depends on the fight, on who you put him in with. Because look, he's never fought that way before, so you don't know. I mean, it's the difference between the two. The power, everything is so different. 'Cause really, those guys are probably 180 pounders coming down to 160. Right now, you fight 165 to 170 pound fighters coming down to 154. So it's a big difference.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Richard, while we're waiting for the switch, which of the fights are you looking most forward to on Saturday?
It's really just like the fights. It's 50-50. I mean, very excited about both fights. Yeah.
And we received your notification about your new signee, your Olympian.
Misael, yes.
Yes. Tell us a little about Misael while we're waiting for.
He is one of those guys who is not a student of the sweet science, but he is a student of entertaining crowds, Mexican style. I mean, that's the guy. That's the guy who really is Mexican style. He's just exciting. He loves to bang, loves to come forward, and he's a very, very nice young man as well, which is what attracted me to him.
Excellent.
How are you? Good to see you.
Red man.
Red man. Good. You? Great to see you. Great to see you again.
I feel like you should ask us the questions. We read you so often,
I know.
in addition to seeing you train.
The mailbag.
You guys got all the questions this week.
How'd you get your nickname?
Actually, has nothing to do with boxing. I was a high school basketball player, and there was a movie out called Cornbread Earl and Me. And I had a couple of good games, and they started calling me Cornbread. And as I got older, I won a lot of money gambling, and they cut the corn off and just started calling me bread. So
I always read about his betting.
it don't have nothing to do with boxing. Actually, betting on football and things like that.
Who's your team?
The Eagles, but I don't bet on them. I just like them. I'm from Philadelphia. But they break my heart more than any woman ever had.
Tell us about training camp. How's training camp been?
It was tough. It was a tough camp. The fight kept getting pushed back. But we made it through. And he's going to do his thing on Saturday night. It's been a long time coming. He's tired of being overlooked. He's tired of having to chase fights. He's tired of a lot of things. He's going to do his thing on Saturday night.
When this opportunity finally came to fruition, was it more a feeling of relief, or was a feeling from J-Rock more, now it's really, really go time?
We always knew that he would fight for the title. We just didn't know when, and we wasn't sure when Jamal was going to vacate. So we knew he was going to fight for the title. When I finally got the word, it was like, okay, all right. But as a trainer, you don't want to stay out the gym too long, because if you get too long, fighters gain weight, they get rusty. So you don't want to stay out of the gym too long. So I kept him in the gym 3-4 days a week, just staying sharp. But when I finally got the word, I'm going to say beginning of where I don't know exactly when it was. I could tell his focus and his intensity level went up. I mean, nobody fights to be a challenger or to win the silver medal. You want, so this is what he's been working his whole life for. So,
Talk to us about the genuine chemistry you guys have between you and J-Rock.
I'm the type of person, I would rather be associated with people that I get along with than like the best jobs that I've ever had. It was always because there was a chemistry and somebody liked me there. I think that that's more important than talent always. You don't have to have the best fighter in the world. But if you got a guy that will listen to you and believe in you, I think it works better. Just like dating a woman. Some women may be pretty, but everything may not work out with her. Julian, it was just one of those things by chance. I just happened to be training a guy that I get along with. Our birthdays are 2 days apart. We're very similar, and it just happens that the chips just fell that way. But it does. It's not easy because you're dealing with a fighter. You're dealing with testosterone. You're dealing with a lot of pride. We fight. We argue. I have to curse at him. He's a man. He has children. You don't like to have to, but sometimes you gotta tell him what to do on a constant basis. Tell him when to run. Tell him how many sit-ups to do. So it's not easy. We don't hug and kiss during training camp. But he believes in me and I believe in him, and that's make it work.
Julian seems to be pretty focused. You never really see him going up too much in weight. Consistent. He stays in the gym. What do you have to stay on top of him about, if anything?
You know what? I've been around a lot of young fighters, and they got a lot of bad vices. He likes pasta. I mean, he's a young man. I'm sure women are attracted to him, but I don't hang out with him in that way because that's a fine line between being a trainer and being somebody's friend. So I would just probably say keeping his weight at a reasonable weight, within about 15 pounds of the weight limit. Other than that, he's not a partier. He's not a drinker. He spends his money wisely. He invests in properties, and he has a nice managed stock account. I'm a rich man like that. He invested in stocks good, and he's not a really hard kid to rein in. He's more like bullheaded as far as training. Like our biggest arguments are you going to counter him with a right hand or counter him with a left hand? Or who's better, Ray Leonard or Floyd Mayweather? Those kind of arguments. I don't have to pull him out of a club or bail him out of jail and stuff like that. He's not that kind of kid. He grew up in dire circumstances, but he's from the streets, but he's not in the streets. So he's not like that. He's not that kind of person.
Who's on what side of that argument? The Leonard Mayweather.
We know Leonard's favorite.
I don't want to get into that, man.
Sugar Ray's your favorite, right?
Ray Leonard's the best fighter I've ever seen in my own 2 eyes. But Floyd Mayweather is great also.
J-Rock and yourself come from a place that is known to produce and breed some of the best boxers in the world. Can you give us a little bit of the history behind Philly?
What's weird? In the gym we were training at previous to this fight, we left the gym for this fight to get more privacy. There was 2 IBF champions in there that won the title at 154 pounds, and Robert Hines and Buster Drake.
Okay.
Unbelievable, right? So they always made a joke that says that he was going to be the 3rd one, and it's so weird because they're about his height, his length. They're built just like him. In our gym alone, it would probably be a big deal to somebody who was visiting. But we've had Steve Cunningham in our gym. Carl Dargan, young kid named Gerard Ennis, who's a fantastic fighter. So many pros, Gabe Rosado, so many good guys that you guys seen on TV. It's really no big deal to us. We just seen it in the gym, It's like, okay, you're just used to it, everybody can fight, It's just what it is, It's just a place. I don't know why it lined up like that. It's just a place of a lot of good fighters. I think it can be a hindrance too, because you can burn yourself out in the gym if you spar a certain kind of way every single day with that many good guys. I mean, because we save a lot of money in camp. They tease me about how little the money that I need to for this training camp expenses. I can do a whole camp for Julian for under $5,000. And that's almost unheard of. But the reason why is because there's so much good sparring in our area. I don't need to fly a bunch of kids in and pay for their airfare and hotel rooms, because that's the expense. And, running a camp for 8 weeks, you got to feed the kids every day. I can just simply pay them by the day for sparring and just get them in because there's kids in our gym that are 7 and 3 that could kick main event guys' asses in real fights. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not lying. We got a kid that comes down, he's 7'3", he can fight his butt off. He just does not have resources. He don't have a manager. And what happens is they just throw him to the wolves. So he takes fights on short notice and he loses. But in the gym, he can fight. You know, so it's just like that. I can't explain it. It's just a lot of good fighters that are. Even now, where the level has dropped off, there's still good fighters.
How is it being a young trainer? It seems like you can relate to these kids and talk to them more.
That's an interesting question. I'm 40. I don't know how young that is. I don't feel that.
That's young.
You know, I think that was part of the reason why Julian asked me to start helping him out because, you know, a lot of the guys, they get a little bit older and they can't move around as much, you know, so I can run with them and I can do the pads with them and things like that. You know, I can relate to them, but, you know, I don't know. Hopefully when I get 60, I'll still be able to, you know, hopefully I can.
You know, we also always admire your technical mind when it comes to boxing. Looking at the other fight on the card, Mares versus Cuellar, Cuellar versus Mares, how do you foresee that fight?
Oh man, I think that's a great fight. I think Abner Mares is a hell of a fighter. I've been watching him for a while. I remember where he won that bantamweight tournament and he beat the guy Moreno.
Yeah.
I didn't think he could win that fight because Moreno was really, really good. Mares is a hell of a fighter. I know he had some difficulties as of late. But, and Cuellar is good too, and they got two great trainers. I don't know, man. I think Mares is the superior talent as far as God-given ability, but he might be a little small. Well, I saw them two together, and there's a big size differential. But I think it's going to be a great fight. I really, really do. I don't really want to be a winner, but I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. And they got two great trainers. I think Freddie was the best trainer in boxing. So.
J-Rock is a really big guy. I was just next to him right now. Is he going to stay at 54 for much longer?
I don't know, man. You know, honestly, that's why I wanted this fight sooner than later, because you could leave a party yourself on that scale. I'm sure you know, Richard. You've been around a while, so I don't know. He wants to unify, but I'm not gonna let him hurt himself to make the weight. He made the weight great this time, but every time you do it, you know, you can take a piece away from you. So we have to see. I just want to win this fight. That's all. You know, right now he's a couple of pounds over. And I just want to win this fight, my man, and then we can worry about all that other stuff.
When you play out the fight in your mind, how does it end for you?
Well, Julian needs to win this fight conclusively. You know, in boxing, I think that Richard will agree with me. The worst thing about boxing is for everybody to think one person won and then the judges give it to somebody else. And they don't even, it's even a disservice to the fighter that gets the gift, because that fighter didn't ask for it. And then he has to go around explaining why he got something that he didn't deserve. It's the worst thing in boxing. Everybody should get what they deserve. So it's very important for him to earn a victory. I don't want no fighter of mine to get a gift, and I mean that. I don't care who it is. We work too hard to get a gift. But I'm just going to say he's going to win. He's going to win this fight. However he has to win this fight, he's going to win this fight by any means necessary. I think he's going to be electrifying. I think he's going to be spectacular. I think that it's been a long time coming. And like I said, I think he's tired. I think he's tired of being overlooked. I think he's tired of being the guy. He can fight, the best kept secret kind of guy. I think that this is going to be his coming out party. And I think he's going to put on the show and show everybody why very few challengers are even money going into a fight like this, because the people that know better, they know what's up. And I think y'all going to see that Saturday night.
Speaking of controversial decisions, what did you think about Kovalev versus Ward?
You know what? In all honesty, I know you're gonna think this is the political question, but this answer, but this is the honest to goodness truth. I wasn't scoring the fight. I don't go to fight parties with a pen and paper in my hand. I just was watching the fight out of enjoyment. Some fights are easy to score because there's an obvious winner of every round, but a fight like that, unless you got a pen and paper and you're scoring every round exactly, you lose credibility by just jumping out saying that you thought somebody won. I couldn't even tell who won that fight. You know, I was just at a fight party, just like, man, this is close. I was in suspense as the scorecards were being read. I thought it was a great fight, and both guys put on a show. And I really didn't score it. You know, I honestly did.
You know, there's some characteristics I see in J-Rock. He's one of those hardworking, blue-collar fighters. We were talking about this, me and Steven, on our show, The Fight Guys, and I'm not going to say that there's just some similarities, but I see a little bit of, like, Marvin Hagler for some reason. There's something about it. I don't know. Just my opinion.
You know what? I mean, I'm gonna tell you.
I know Hagler's lefty.
No, I mean he switched. I'm gonna tell you what's weird. Every time I hear somebody describe Julian Williams, they always come up with like a different style. I've heard people say he's a pressure fighter. I've heard people say he's very technical. I heard people say he's more of a boxer than a puncher. I heard people say he's a puncher. I've heard all different things, and I think that. I didn't take that the wrong way. I think that's a compliment to him because that means he has different layers to his game. I think that he's shown the ability to win how he has to be able to win. There's fights where he knocks guys out with left hooks, fights where he knocks guys out with right hands. There's fights where he kind of boxes and has to be careful. There's fights where he works on the inside. So I think he's shown a lot of versatility in his ability. So everybody has a different opinion on how he fights. You know, I have my own. You know, how I view him, but I think it's really...
How do you view him?
I view him as a violent scientist. I think he's a very violent man, but I think he's very, very calculated and technical about the way he goes about things. So Showtime asked me a few years ago how I view him. I said I look at him as a violent scientist.
A definite similarity, kind of what we were talking about with the Marvin Hagler comparison, is what you mentioned earlier about the hunger, the anger that he doesn't have the recognition that he wants. Would you agree with that aspect about it?
You know what? I actually think it's a good thing because fighters need motivation. You know, I don't really think that you guys understand how hard it is training every single day like that for months and months at a time, and your body taking that kind of punishment, and on top of that, you're restricting your calories because you got to watch your weight. So you need some sort of motivation. Whether it's money, family, glory, whatever it is. So I'm actually glad that things haven't been on a silver plate for him because you can lose your motivation if things are too easy for you too early. You know, I had these investors come with Julian and they wanted to give him money every month. And I'm like, he don't need that. Whatever money he needs, I'll just give it to him. And I always gave him just enough to pay his bills and do what he had to do. And that was it, because he needed to be hungry. Wasn't going to put him in the same car that I drive because he wouldn't work the same way. You know what I mean? So now he got a better car than me, but you know what? He fought for it. You know, so, fighters need to be a little bit hungry. I don't believe in spoiling a fighter, man. When you do that, I'm sure he knows way better than me. It ruins their motivation. It ruins their drive. You got to keep them away from the different women. It's trouble. So I don't really, I don't feel bad for him that he has that kind of anger and motivation. It's a good thing because it makes my job easier because it makes him, this is a violent sport. You know what I'm saying? You can't, this is not, everybody talking about our relationship. That's my man. I got a lot of love for him, but we don't tell each other we love each other. We don't hug, we don't kiss, we don't do none of that. We don't have that kind of relationship, I got to tell him what to do. I got to curse at him. I got to say, get your ass up and let's run. Do more push-ups. You're not doing enough today. You know what I mean? So I actually like the fact that he's that way, that he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because it'd probably be too difficult to train him if it wasn't that way.
Does he know you kept money out of his pocket? He's gonna know now.
No, you know what's funny? He does know because they wanted to take 27% from him me or the cut man got paid. And I said, you know what? I want this kid to come home with his money. You know, he's the one taking the punches. I said, we're not going to do that. You give a kid $2,000, they don't need that. I said, how about this? Let him do without it and let's see where he turns out. And I gambled, and I was right, you know. But he knew that, and he actually agreed with me because he said, Steve, they done took 27% from me, and then you take your trainer's fees, and then I pay an assistant and the cut man, and then I pay my taxes. I was going to come home with like 35 cents on the dollar. He's not a freaking mathematician, but he can add. So he said, I'm glad that you did that for me. Now he comes home with his money, and that's what it's all about. You know?
Excellent.
He's spending his whole life fighting to come home with 30 cents on the dollar. That wouldn't be right, just for $2,000 a month. You know, so I didn't let him do that to him. And you know, that happens to fighters when they don't have anything. You living in a one-bedroom apartment with 2 pieces of furniture, people take that. You know, but I didn't let that happen to him. And he struggled, it was tough. But, you know, here we are now.
If he does win, obviously his popularity is going to get a lot bigger, purses are going to get bigger, kind of everything else gets bigger. How do you keep that hunger?
Well, he's going to have to be mature. He's going to have to be a man, you know. He has a father. He is a father. You know, I'm his friend. I'm his mentor, but I can't control every aspect of his life. He's going to have to be mature. You know, he's going to have to be level-headed. And he's 26 years old. So for the last 6 years, he knows what it takes. And he knows how to do that. But I'm telling you, and I'm not bragging, but he's just really not that kind of kid. He's not a super partier. You know, so I don't have to.
You guys good? Alright, we're gonna do the face-off. The famous face. We were in the car, and I was like, all right, you're gonna face off with Ronnie. He's like, that's all I'm doing. I was like, no, you're talking for a half an hour and then facing off with Ronnie.
Good.
Again, Ronnie was professional. I gotta go get what's his name now? Ronnie Reels. Late.
I'll
find out.
No, I talked to him. I didn't go to him. I talked to him on the phone 2 days ago.
I'll find out.
Yeah, he sounded ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm running to a good lecture.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a good matchup.
Clear and definitive.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's no winning when you get it.
Get the old job.
Okay.
What?
He's ready, huh?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't really type it in.
You stealing from the school?
Yeah. Well, and my mom's a teacher, so.
Have you ever seen this binder? He calls himself Mike Nutt. If you want to crack up one night, just go look on YouTube and look for vines from a contributor named Mike Nutt. That dude is so sweet. Yeah. He always goes into the store like with his friends and stuff, and out of nowhere, he'll be like, "Oh, they stealing the right way." Everybody in the store will look around like, he is horrible. Oh, it's hilarious. My daughter got me hooked to that retarded stuff. See, when you have kids in your household, you watch a bunch of dumb shit that you have no business watching.